What's this? A game I've already done? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am now tackling a game that basically I made an LP of way back at the beginning of making things on my channel, and basically that LP has not aged very well. It's very, very out of date. I used a really rubbish capture device back in the day to record it. So I figured I may as well redo this one, although with a bit of a twist. Let's get right into it, shall we? Hello everyone, and welcome ladies and gentlemen to Sonic the Hedgehog on the Android mobile device. I'm one more sheep yet again, and this here is a remaster of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game, taking the entire game and improving just about every single aspect of it. Now it's in proper full-blown HD with 3 playable characters as opposed to just Sonic being playable. And during the course of this LP, I'm basically going to be switching out between all 3 characters, showing off their unique abilities, what they were all able to do, and basically as it goes for every single zone, except for one zone, I'm basically going to be sticking to different characters. I'm going to be switching between characters during the course of the LP. But yeah, this is the original Sonic the Hedgehog, the game that started off the fantastic series, which a lot of people will argue that in this day and age, hey, this is not actually a very good series at all. I'll always contest that, and I will always say it's a bloody fantastic time because, well, I'm a Sonic fanboy, and I just love these games through and through. And Sonic 1 is absolutely no exception to the rule. I'm gonna kind of treat this LP as if I haven't LP'd this game before, so a lot of information I say may get repeated from my original LP, but let's face it, I did that years ago when I first started this YouTube channel. But yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, basically you can jump, you can spin, and you have to collect rings in order to not die and destroy all of Dr. Robotnik's badniks, or Dr. Eggman's badniks if you go by modern day sort of lingo. Although then again, he was always called Eggman in Japan regardless, but that's beside the point, what can I tell ya? But anyway, if you manage to get through the entirety of a act with 50 rings in tow, then you have access to these places, the special zones, and basically while you go into these places you're able to get one of those MacGuffins, the Chaos Emeralds. Now there's 7 of them in total in later games, but during the course of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 we only ever have just the 1 Chaos Emerald to deal with, which some people may not like as much. I don't like it as much. I'm just 6 as opposed to 7, just because not only am I a Sonic fan, I'm a Dragon Ball fan, and I love the idea of super forms. If you get the 7 Chaos Emeralds in these games, well, not in every game, but in a lot of games, Sonic transforms into its super form, which is just basically this golden ball of death that flies through each level, annihilating everything at top speed. Again, that's not really in this game, or at least the version of the game we're currently going through. And I'll elaborate more so about that at the end of the LP. But basically you have to go through the special zones, you have to go through each of these mazes, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I do not like the special zones in Sonic the Hedgehog 1. I really, really do not, which is why during this LP you might see some inconsistencies here and there, due to how I've edited it, because I had to do like 3-4 playthroughs for this LP to actually work the way I want it to anyway. And basically I'm going to have to do a lot of editing here and there because these special zones are a nightmare to go through. The controls do not work. And it's not just the case of the remaster here where the controls just don't work. I just find the controls in every version of Sonic 1 to just be terrible in the special zones. It's just, they're a nightmare. I really do not like it. And every now and then I'll find myself doing a run through where I do everything I plan to do and I get Chaos Emeralds, no problem. But then I have these occasional playthroughs where I'm trying to make the jumps and for some reason the jump button doesn't register in the time span I want it to, and it's a nightmare. And to make things worse, in this remastered version of Sonic 1, I don't know what they've done exactly, apart from make the rotation of this a lot smoother. It seems even harder to control than it did originally on the Mega Drive, and I don't exactly know why. Because, by all intents and purposes, the game itself runs flat out better, and maybe it's due to the fact it's on a mobile phone, but even then that doesn't make much sense because this is a mobile game. But I am using a controller to play it. So, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in that regard. I just can't do these special zones. They're a nightmare. And, yeah, you can see me even struggling just to get to the center here, just to get this one Chaos Emerald. And basically, every Chaos Emerald, for the most part, is going to be encapsulated with these diamond thingies you need to rub up against until they all pop out of existence. For these diamond thingies, just rub up on them. Eventually, you'll get through. It's just a little tedious. It takes a little bit of frustration to get through, but, you know, keep at it. Eventually, you will get there. Unless the controls dick you over and you send yourself flying off at some crevice, God knows what elsewhere, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. And one of the things that have been introduced to this remastered version of Sonic 1 as well is the Spin Dash, which originally was not introduced until Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I know a lot of my friends actually don't, well, a lot of my friends who have played the original classic Sonic games, one of the reasons why they've never been too fond of Sonic 1 compared to Sonic 2 is purely because there's no Spin Dash. There's no way to instantly rev up your speed and go flying off at supersonic speeds. And again, I love the fact that Spin Dash here is introduced, because it makes getting through certain areas of the game so much more quicker. Although I do find some of the level design points in this one are not really suited for using the Spin Dash, and that's mainly because there's a lot. Sonic 1 is probably the slowest out of the trilogy, in that you have to do a lot of basic platforming, you have to slow down, you have to wait for certain things to happen, and I have the tendency of having a Spin Dash of just going head first into everything, just going bloody mental, and it does screw me over a few times because I'm like, oh, I'm going to Spin Dash across here, no problem, and I end up going right into a bunch of spikes, which, again, entirely my own fault. It's nothing to do with the game, but it's something I know a lot of people who do use the Spin Dash of Sonic 1 tend to notice. But anyway, the first boss for there, easy peasy lemon squeezy, just jump over the ball and chain, just boop him, he goes down no problem up to 8 boops. That boss fight's actually a little bit harder in this version as well, because those two platforms you have to jump on are a bit wider apart compared to what they were in the original Mega Drive release. Again, makes sense, it's a HD version, some things are going to be changed here and there. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play as Tails, miles per hour. And Tails in Sonic 1 Remastered basically acts exactly as he did in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, although Tails has a bit of a lower hitbox, so you can find yourself going underneath rings a lot more. But yeah, basically Tails has his entire moveset from Sonic 3 back. He can spin dash, and he can fly. And you would think flying would break the level design. In some bits, yeah, in some portions of this game, if you fly, you can skip entire sections, and you will see me try to make use of that a little bit. Not too much during the LP, but I will try and make use of Tails' abilities as much as I can. But what has been added in the remaster is if you fly all the way up here, for example, there's a couple of hidden goodies littered about, so, you know, just to encourage the fact that, oh yeah, you flew up here. For example, that vulnerability power-up was never there in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 Mega Drive, primarily due to the fact you couldn't get up the bloody thing. Actually, I don't know, it might have been there, but I don't know, I've never looked up there before. You have no way to get up there as classic standard Sonic, do you? So I'd really be shocked if that's there in the original release, but either way. But yeah, this is the Marble Garden, well not Marble Garden, this is the Marble Zone, and basically the general gist by here is slow block-based platforming. That's all there really is to it here, and a lot of people don't like this zone as a great as a result of that even. And I can see it. I can see why entirely, because Marble Garden Zone, no, not Marble Garden, that's Sonic 3. Marble Zone is slower. Significantly slower, like it's way slower than Green Hill Zone was. Like, Green Hill Zone is a great introduction to the game where you're going fast, you're blasting through everything, you're having a good time. Then you sort of hit this zone, and the speed of the game just gets crippled entirely. And I don't know, it's just an issue that Sonic 1 sort of has in terms of balance, where Sonic the Hedgehog 1 goes from fast to slow to slow to fast to slow. It's really inconsistent to the speed of the level design. The level designs have different focuses, where Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 onwards tend to do that job a little bit better, I feel. But anyway, this is the inconsistency I was sort of talking about. As you can tell, I went into the special ring as Sonic, And I'm doing a Sonic, as Tails even. And I'm doing a special zone as Sonic himself. And the main reason behind that is just because I screw up the special zone a lot. There's no two ways about it. I'm terrible at these Sonic 1 special zones, so I had to do a lot of editing just to get around this. That or re-record this about a million times and lose my mind. And I don't particularly want to lose my mind. I'm just getting back into this YouTube thing after a long break. I don't want to, you know, go crazy. That said, one of my next LPs is Shadow the Hedgehog, so yeah, maybe I will go a bit crazy because of that. But that's beside the point. But yeah, it's like I said before, I don't really have any advice for these special stages that much, to be honest. Although one thing I have noticed, and I don't know if this is true in the Mega Drive release, but it is true in this remastered release. The longer you hold down left or right on the D-pad when you're, you know, sort of hugging these walls, you'll notice the Sonic spinning animation will start to rev up faster and faster and faster. And you can, if you jump when that's fully revved up, you will get a much bigger jump to the left or right, depending which direction you're holding. And that's, I don't know if that exists in the original Mega Drive release, but I have noticed it in the remaster, and it helped a lot in going through these stages. And considering I'm still struggling to get the Bloody Emerald when it supposedly helped a lot, it goes to show, you know, exactly why I don't like these levels. For God's sake, Sonic, get in the center. Whoa, this place is spinning me out. Come on. No, really, it's spinning me out. I'm getting dizzy. Come on, hurry up. Like, I see people always, sort of criticizing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for its half-pipes and some of the later games in the series for poor special stage design. But very few of them ever get to the point where I just really despise the special stages, and Sonic 1 is one of those cases. And, you know, I will give Sonic 1 the pass on this just because, you know, it is the first of its kind. And not only that, there are far worse special stages that happen in the franchise later on. Sonic Heroes. But, actually then again, Sonic Heroes is significantly more fun than this, I'd say, special stage-wise. The only problem with that is that's ungodly broken in Sonic Heroes, so, I don't know, I digress, I'm sort of rambling at this point. But there we go, more of Tails' flight ability, and I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I do believe that if you're using Tails' helicoptery tail spin to fly, I believe if you hit an enemy with the tail rotors, it will hurt the enemies. I know that happens in Sonic 3, but, hence why I'm saying don't quote me on this, because I'm not sure if it works in this remaster. But in Sonic 3, you can just sort of fly into a person, and if you're hitting them at the exact right point, you can hurt the enemy. I don't know if that happens here. I'm hoping? Well, I'm not even hoping, I never use the ability. Like, you'll see me later on in the playthrough, I try to actually use Tails' flying ability to hurt an enemy, and I just sort of get blue balls. Is that the word? Blue balls? Basically, I shit myself and decide, okay, I better not, I might as well fight the bosses the normal way. So, you know. But one of the benefits of playing Tails in Marble Zone, not Marble Garden, Marble Zone, is by here, this block pushing section where you have to land on this block and go across the lava. Normally, it's really tedious, and, well, it still is tedious, but with Tails, I can skip all this if I really wanted. Why am I doing it the traditional way? It was more of a precaution just in case. But it also means I can go down into this secret alcove and get this extra life, and easily fly back up. Now, normally, if you do this, you have to go all the way back and then wait all the way back to the area you came from again, so it's really tedious if you try to get that extra life the traditional way, but because I have miles per hour, then yeah, I can fly over it. I can't do a Tails voice, that's why I sort of went into a Sonic. Actually, I can try. Yeah, now it. No. Yeah, now it. Oh, fuck it, I can't do a Tails voice. I can try. I can do a Silver voice, kind of. I will protect the future. Okay, that's probably nothing like Silver, but that was my attempt at it. Oh no. And there's my Knuckles voice. Oh no. That probably just sounds like my normal voice, only saying oh no in a really weird way. Ah, but I digress. Indeed-o. But again, having the spin dosh spin dash in this game is just... It makes the game flow so much quicker in a lot of instances. Again, the level design isn't built with a spin dash in mind, and it's insanely easy to just sort of get into the mentality of, okay, I'm going to spin down here, I'm going to spin down there, I'm going to spin everywhere, up and down and all around. But the problem is, you know, you can easily find yourself going into spike traps and stuff as a result, because the game is basically... The game expects you to be a lot smaller? A lot slower than what the spin dash allows you to do. Unless you have a really long run-up or something, but I don't know. I digress. Now it's time for another special zone. But, yeah, these are fun. To be honest, if you are playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1, I honestly wouldn't recommend going after the Chaos Emeralds, because they are just tedious. And you don't really get a reward from them at all. I mean, it's not like in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles where, oh, you can turn into this ungodly beast that can annihilate everything. It's just a waste of time, really, in Sonic 1's case. Like, oh, yay. I mean, I'm gonna spoil the ending right now. It's Sonic 1, there's not really much of an ending, and everyone should know the ending of this by now, but basically what happens in Sonic 1 is... Once you beat Eggman, you get to the Green Hill Zone, and Sonic does a pose to say, yeah, congratulations, you beat the game. The only difference that happens when you get the Chaos Emeralds is flowers appear? Yay! I don't get it. I don't see why. I mean, you know, I honestly don't know why. It basically is completely pointless to get the Chaos Emeralds. Unless, of course, you enjoy doing the special stages, then you're crazy, but more power to you. Again, it's like one of my friends. One of my friends loves the special stages of Sonic 1, and I still think he's mad. He's absolutely bonkers, but what do I know? I'm just a Sonic fanboy who talks over video game footage for the internet. I suppose I review games for the internet as well. I sort of got into the whole reviewing thing recently myself, but that's beside the point. Ruins the joke. I do want to actually talk about the history of this game a little bit as well, because I remember I talked about that briefly in my first LP. And basically, Sonic the Hedgehog was Sega's direct, like, sort of way to compete against Nintendo, because Sega at the time were direct competitors with good old Nintendo, you know, the company of the Red Plumber. And basically, at the time before this game came out, Sega's mascot was this character called Alex Kidd, who I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the Alex Kidd games, and I know some people will just curse me for that, but I've never liked Alex Kidd. I've always found them to be pretty mediocre games. I mean, I've only played 2 of the games, so the other ones could be very, very good, but I don't know. It's like I played the original Master System Alex Kidd game, and the Alex Kidd game on the Mega Drive, that, what was it called, Miracle World or something, I forget. And I just never enjoyed that series. But basically, Nintendo had Mario, and that was a massive success, so Sega decided, hey, we need to change our brand image. Let's get a new character, a new cool character in town with an attitude. And basically, Sonic was born as a direct competitor. There's a lot more to the history and all that, but I don't want to basically ramble on for ages, and plus, I don't really know all the information because I forget half of it. But yeah, the boss fight against Dr. Eggman, basically, he shoots fire down, you bip him, dodge the fireball, vice versa, continue until he goes down. You know, the boss fights in these games are actually really simple. I mean, I like the boss fights as simple because they flow a lot quicker as a result, but it's time to slow things down a little bit with Knuckles the Enchilada. Well, Knuckles the Echidna, but you get what I mean. And Knuckles, just like with Tails, plays exactly as he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where he has a spin dash and he has his ability to glide and climb on walls. And as a neat little extra bonus as well, those walls that you usually have to spin dash into, Knuckles can just run into them face first. He face plants into the walls and they just explode, which is something I always appreciate. But Knuckles is a little bit different in terms of his control compared to Sonic and Tails, because Knuckles has slightly slower top speed. So as a result, he feels a lot heavier Like, his movement feels flat out heavier, and I think that's the best way to really explain one of the major differences with him. And not only that, his jump height is much shorter. And you're going to see a couple of times in this zone where Knuckles' gimped jump is going to be a little bit annoying. But, yeah, you know, the fact he can climb up walls, I guess, makes up for his dodgy jump and all that. But I digress. Anyway, this is Springyard Zone. I might as well talk about the level for a little bit, because I've been rambling on about Knuckles for the past ages. And this is basically this game's equivalent of the casino level. Now, one of the things that are well known in the Sonic games are basically casino zones, like Carnival Night Zone in Sonic 3, Casino Night Zone in Sonic 2, for example. Casinopolis, there we go, from Sonic Adventure, you know. And this is basically the predecessor of them, and the main reason for that is there's loads of springs you have to bounce off, there's loads of bumpers. I mean, it's not strictly a full-blown casino level, it's just a level filled with springs and bumpers and traps that get on your nerves, and I'm pretty sure that the game developers have flat out designed this level to get on your nerves, because if you look in the background and the scenery and stuff, they got all these random words littered about. Like, for some reason they have Sonic's name littered somewhere, they have Tails' name, or Miles. Actually, anyway, they don't have Miles. What am I talking about? They just have Sonic's name in the background. Bleh. Miles wasn't introduced until Sonic 2, you dummy. But, one of the things that says in the background signs is cope, and I'm just like, yeah, I do need a cope with all these bouncy pads and springs. It's a good thing it never gets to the point of wacky workbench zone in Sonic CD, though. I really do not like that level. Nope. No, sir. I do not. But I've already done a Sonic CD LP, and I've already said my opinion on that game. You know, my opinion since that LP has probably soured a lot more, because I've tried replaying Sonic CD not long ago, and it's just, I don't know, it angers me. Basically, like, it has lots of good design mentalities, and there's all these baffling design decisions in the levels in between the good stuff. It's like, ugh. Like, everything in that game works except the level design. But that's I'm going into another completely different topic. I've already talked about Sonic CD, I'm not doing it again. Even if my opinion has changed a lot more, but still, that's beside the point. Anyway, moving into Springyard Zone Act 2. And one of the things I really do love about Springyard Zone is there's a lot of these sections where you're going to see all these half pipes, like right by here with these spinning spike balls, and it's really good fun to sort of not do that. That's like, why would Knuckles, what are you, stupid? Why would you jump into a spiked ball? You idiot. God. I was very tempted then to lob in that joke that Clement does in his LPs, the Knuckles shut up joke, but nah, I better not steal from other YouTubers. I've already stolen that joke once in the past, but so, you know. But no, it's like, there's all these half pipes in this level, and it's just good fun going into a ball, curling yourself around them, and trying to get as much speed as physically possible. It's a jolly good time, what can I tell ya? Although there is one specific half-pipe pathway that you will see me jump on where I'm going to avoid spinning on. And that's deliberately because there's a hidden wall amongst one of those half-pipe loops. And if you try to curl into a ball, you will gain so much speed that it'll be physically impossible to actually get into that hidden alcove. You have to run down and up the alcove, otherwise you're screwed. I think it's in Act 3. Yes, it'll be in Act 3 where that happens, so never mind, I'm getting ahead of myself. But there's little instances and nooks and crannies like that I really do love about the Sonic franchise, including this game, because every time I play through these games, well, not every time, but most of the time I play through these games, there's always something new. I always discover something I've never discovered before. It's like just before I did my Sonic 2 LP. Oh, God knows when I did that, I can't remember. I discovered an alternate path in Chemical Plant Zone that allowed me to skip the water section entirely. You know, I always discover brand new things in these games, and it's part of the reason why I love coming back to them. It's part of the reason why I love them through and through. It's because they're so well designed and there's always something new. I mean, until I find everything in the game, then it's less new, but they're still really replayable despite that. In fact, I would always argue that's probably the strongest suit of all the Sonic games. Like, they're insanely replayable. Like, I never get bored of going through these levels over and over and over again to get a bad time, or just to enjoy the scenery, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But Sonic got them all 6 Chaos Emeralds, and yeah, no super form in this one, folks. Again, that's something that I'll talk more about basically in next part, because it's only a 2-part LP. This is a short one, folks. That's gonna be something I'll talk more about then, because there's basically I want to talk about. Actually, no, part 3. Part 3 I'll talk about the super form, because there's actually some bonus content in here that I want to talk about. I don't know if many people will talk about, because every time I see LPs of Sonic 1, it's never this remastered version. It's always going to be the original Mega Drive release I always see LPs of. And I understand that, because it's a little bit awkward to capture footage of this. Like, the only way I was able to capture this footage for this LP was because I was emulating Android. That's the only way I could capture this footage. I mean, I don't have an Android phone. Don't worry, folks, I do own this game. I did buy it off Google. But I just don't have an Android phone or anything like that. I have no way to record a mobile phone. I'm pretty sure there's adapters and stuff like you get, I suppose, like on the iPhone, but I really don't want to go on my way for that stuff, because every Apple thing in the planet is overpriced. So that's another rant for another day. I don't want to spend the entire part of a Sonic LP talking about Apple products. Whoa, what's going on with the physics there? Why did Knuckles suddenly lose all his speed? Weird. Another weird thing as well about this playthrough in particular is, at certain points when I'm playing as Knuckles, you will sort of see me do really baffling things. And I assure you that wasn't the game. That's actually my controller screwing up. For some reason, my controller recently has been acting up on PC, and I don't exactly know why. Like, I use one of those Logitech controllers you can buy, those wireless ones, because they're really handy for PCs. Because I can switch them between different modes, and I don't know, I like it. But I'm noticing that some of my inputs, like right by here, it's happening right now, some of my inputs will just stop being accepted whatsoever, and I'll fly off into a wall, into a direction I was holding previously. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what causes that. Interference from Bluetooth, I assume, or something like that, but I digress. Anyway, I believe this is the one. You just have to run down here, not spin, and you'll be able to make it into that alcove. Remember, if you spin, you will go too fast. And you know what they say about going fast? It's good, but you don't want to go too fast, though. But what that allows you to do is basically get this invulnerability power-up, which makes traversing this area so much quicker, and not so much easier, but it just makes it quicker, and that's the quickest path you can get through that, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But once you get to these blocks, these moving blocks of death, this is basically the last stretch of the zone. I assure you that was the controls as well. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is the last stretch of the actual zone, and we're about to fight the boss. And actually, one of my favorite little details about this version of Sonic 1 actually is in this boss fight right now. Because, if you remember, in the original Mega Drive release, obviously 4:3 aspect ratio, to sort of fix things up here, they added these little borders on the left and right to the boss the boss fight field, and I really do appreciate it. It makes this little boss basically exactly as he was, but, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling at this point. But anyway, for Dr. Eggman's Spyco ground-pounding butt machine, I don't know what it's called, basically, just jump into him, move out of the way when he goes to jam down at you, and that's all there is to it. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy, 8 hits as usual, takes him out, and boom! That is Springyard Zone, done and dusted. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed, don't be sheepish people, and I'll catch you all next time as we enter the labyrinth. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you after. Don't be sheepish, people. Bye!